That's the WMTW TV channel 8, Poland Spring, Maine. It's time now for TriState News for this Tuesday, April 29th, 1958. Good evening, everybody. I'm Charles Talkinson, and here's what's happening. In Detroit, General Motors Corporation served the termination of contract notice today to the United Auto Workers Union. The notice is effective at midnight on May 29th when the current 3-year contract expires. GM did not say whether this meant that it would be shut down or attempt to operate without a contract after May 29th. Lewis States, GM Vice President for Industrial Relations, expressed hope that a new agreement can be reached within 30 days, and the committee and UAW can discuss possibly extending the current contract before such termination becomes effective. It should be appeared desirable. In the past, the union notice of termination has been interpreted as a threat of a strike action on the date of termination. The company's notice of cancellation doesn't mean necessarily that GM plants will shut down when the contract expires. If the negotiation go to the deadline without an agreement on a working agreement could be arranged on a day-to-day basis. Like last time, GM gave the UAW cancellation notice. Here in Washington, President Eisenhower reviews the economic situation with Republican leaders today and signaled renewed pressure is building up the Congress to cut taxes. Eisenhower and Secretary of the Treasury Anderson have stood firmly against any tax reduction up to now, but no firm decision on future action has been reached. With organized labor renewing its demands for tax relief, and the administration released itself to a position to decide. Even way influential Democrats said that they are getting new pressure to do something quickly into this field. As an example, one highly placed Democratic said economists who have been advised them have.
Belleville, New Jersey.
Here in Washington, a controversial unemployment relief bill faces a showdown vote today in the House Rules Committee, with signs pointing to an approval for the House consideration started tomorrow. It was drafted by the House Ways and Means Committee. Democrats over Republican opposition and its sponsors say that it is needed to offset the effects of widespread unemployment. It's supposed to have been called for the deal. In Denver, a leading military medical expert on space flight problems today proposed using the NERF satellite to probe into major mysteries of life and growth. Colonel Paul A. Campbell, of the Air Force officer of the scientific research and set an orbiting laboratory is needed for studies of the effects of prolonged weightlessness and cosmic radiation upon both animal and plant life. Campbell told an OSR Institute of Aeronautical Sciences Symposium astronautics that such a floating laboratory 200 miles of the more above Earth could shed light on the dynamics of the heart and blood vessel system in the absence of the 1G loud and of the normal Earth's gravity. Similar studies would involve the effect of weightlessness on the fluid dynamics of other parts of the body. For instance, the urinary bladder that might dictate on how much a man's energy is consumed by the constant pull of gravity. In Washington, a petition asking the removal of Godfrey M. P. Schmidt as monitor of the Teamsters Union has been filed in U.S. District Court. John Cunningham of New York who served as chairman of a Teamsters rank and file community whip said if sued to the bar, James R. Hoffer from the union presidency filed a petition. Cunningham said Schmidt, a New York attorney, serves 3 masters of plaintiff of the court. The papers on file said that Schmidt did not consult with the Cunningham before asking of $350,000 fee for. In Rome, Samuel Cardinal Stritch, whose arm was amputated, was reported in excellent condition today. The private physician of Pope Pius the 12th, Professor Riccardo Galanzeri, who witnessed the operation and said could have reported that the Pope visited Cardinal Stritch early today. He found that the Cardinal had no fever, was sleeping well. The Cardinal told visitors on Monday night that I know that they're not there, but I feel sensations in the lips of my fingers and the tips of my fingers in my right hand. The 70-year-old Roman Catholic Archbishop of Chicago's right arm was amputated above the elbow yesterday after a blood clot developed. His doctor said he was recovering quickly and should be. In Northampton, Massachusetts, Richard Decker, 21, a Colorado boy who disappeared 17 months ago with Priscilla Polly, would become a beautiful Smith College student, today pleaded innocent to a charge of being fugitive from Connecticut, where he was sought on an embezzlement accusation. Hartford, Connecticut police reported that they will hold a warrant for Decker's arrest for allegedly embezzling about $89.50 from an apartment house. Landlord. He worked as a rent collector. In Marilyn Monroe, the gal who can wear a sack better than most but should be possibly did it in an extreme sack and explained why she's finding nothing else. Those days it's a movement that she explained that sack allows you and move and it's moving with you and the movement is well moving is good. The occasion was an interview in which the interviewer, who thinks that it's sex awful and was trying to find out why Marilyn thinks that are wonderful. The interview took place in the East 57th Street apartment in which Miss Monroe recently decorated all by herself, while her husband, Arthur Mill, was writing a play in an undecorated room. Marilyn's new chemist was allowed. Scope except for a big white organdy, how where there used to be a Dickens Dodge. The combination was horrific. The combination was terrific. The sack hit Marilyn just above the kneecap, and the fact that she said it was shorter than any of her sex, maybe a little too short, so you had to keep hiding it down, which provided even more movement. I hate all this stuff they've been wearing you all to where it says glitch and all sort of fit. Shouldn't line in and send Marilyn to stays in one place and moves all. In Norway, fire swept the noise block here early today and destroyed one store and caused smoke and water damage to 2 others, a beauty salon and 3 apartments. An 84-year-old resident of one of the second-floor apartments, Miss Del Noyes, was led to safety by patrolmen. 2 other residents, Stell Henson and Gertrude Higgins, escaped when smoke began seeping in the bedroom. The fire was noticed at 4:30 by Mrs. Stell Henson, who notified Frank LaFrance, a night officer. It was brought under control at 7 a.m., but firemen were still at the scene. 50 men and 6 pieces of equipment were employed. And finally, the blaze, Albert Leclerc, a firefighter, severed smoke insulation wall. Battling the blaze and was treated in the hospital. Washington Committee for Economic Development said today that the income tax cut will be an ordinary unemployment and business activity decline in April before March levels. It recommended a temporary 20% across the board reduction in the individual tax rates upon March 1st, 1950 to provide a $7 billion stimulus to consumer purchasing power if that tax reduction becomes necessary. CED's views are contained in a statement by Alpha Z. Neal, president, delivered in the absence of the House Banking Committee by CED research officials Herbert Stein of Washington and Robert Ryan of New York. CED is a privately supported organization of businessmen and educators. Neal said the recession has been no means by reach by alarming and prohibitive, but that is necessary to for the economy before the recession reaches a dangerous point. Washington, U.S. commercial fishermen caught less than a year, the Fair and Wildlife Service reported today. The service in its annual preliminary review of U.S. commercial fisheries in the total about 1957 catch dropped to $4.75 billion pounds from 1956. Prices last year were slightly better, averaging 7.39 cents a pound at both sides compared with 7.03 cents for the 56 catch. But total sales were down. The service estimated fishermen got $351 million for the 1957 catch. They got $369.18 million in 1956. The Deposit received about $592 million compared with $4 to $622 million in 1956. The wholesale $836 compared with $870, and the retailer $1.01 to $1.091 million compared with $1.147 billion in 1957. Catch consisted of about $2.23 billion pounds of industrial fish and some 2.52 billion pounds.
There's an easier way, you know. Millionaire makers sweepstakes.
Cape Canaveral, Florida. The Navy has announced a scheduled call for a Vanguard launch in a month for the next several months. And in future Vanguard shoots where the launch of a satellite will be in the prime concern to the potential monolith complex and instruments will be in different each case. The Navy said that this will be provided the opportunity for the government a greater amount of useful data from outer space. The Navy's latest Vanguard rocket satellite rocket got off to a fire. She started Monday night, but fizzled and died and splashed into the Atlantic Ocean and carried a 29-inch spear equipped with a delicate instruments to study X-ray shooting from the sun. The Navy said it did get some important information from the aboard fire. The Navy reported 20 minutes after the 2 successful launches and third stage of the vehicle powered by a solid fuel propellant. Washington General Navy trying to Congress today. Some U.S. favors are now ready without their legislation asked by a President Eisenhower strike within 30 minutes of the attack. House Armed Service Committee critics of Eisenhower's defense reorganization proposal prompted seized by the Staff Department on training and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Representative Herbert, Democrat of Louisiana, said the President's proposal to strengthen the military role in the certain events is being sold in the American public with slogan about the need for direct command because of the rapid action now needed in the space age. Now it appears that there is no need for the legislature to trigger immediate action, Herbert said. President Vice Democrat of Illinois asked where. Moscow, Soviet Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko today diminished and dismissed a matter of sheer publicity President Eisenhower's proposal for international inspection of the Arctic. He said the United States made the proposal because they simply need intelligence data concerning the Soviet territory. Spoken to news coverage at the foreign ministry. One can only help conclude that the Many offers of that proposal have went against proof that the plans do not provide a serious discussion of either problems of disarmament and
So much more acute.
general or the problems that prevented a surprise attack in particular, said Gromyko. The foreign minister spoke out the debate of the Arctic inspection.
Congressman Markey was
A Wales farmer was fined $10 in Lewiston Municipal Court today for not having his town's name printed on the left
100%.
hand door of the truck. Wilfred Vidal, 53, was given 30 days to pay the fine. He pleaded guilty. By state law, farmer may receive special rate on his registration of his truck provided he stays within a 6-mile radius of the town where his truck was registered. A further condition means that paint the name of the town in the letters that's so small than 4 inches height at the left-hand door of the vehicle. In Portland, Maine rivers which have spilled onto the banks and the little linears last week were still receding today despite the considerable precipitation yesterday. The Weather Bureau said most of yesterday's wet snow and rain fell away from the river's headwaters and did not cause any new flood threats. More than 1 inch of rain and slush fell in Portland. The Weather Bureau said that headwaters had only about 1/3 of that. The most water is expected to continue throughout the next 24 hours. The Weather Bureau forecasts light rain and drizzle with fog and low cloudiness in some inland areas.
After that category,
United Nations New York, the Soviet Union proposed
you're going to start the play.
today that the president has an hour plan for the Arctic military inspection zone to refer to summit meaning the discussion the Soviet
Look like you're
proposal has laid before the United States Security Council to prepare to take up the 1,000-hour plan guard against surprise attack in the Northern region. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where within their bases and 15-mile-an-hour surface winds there today kept more than 25 paratroopers from salvaging even a practice jump with canceled exercise their Eagle Wing. Treacherous ground winds discovered in a front jump by Major General W.C. Westmoreland showed the 5,000 men dropped Monday and ended the exercise would have that number already in the air. The remainder of the men of the 101st Airborne Division still at scout and launching bases when the commander called off the war games and to begin arriving at dawn and land by parachute in a training jump rather than airplane. In Washington, the Agriculture Department reported today that the retail prices of farm-produced food averaged about 7% higher than the first quarter of that year. Then it was the same period in 1957. And agency traced most of this increase in the farm that it is advances and prices received by farmers accounted for 70% of the increase in marketing charges for 39%. Higher prices for meat animals accounted for more than half of the rise in retail and farm prices. Markets of meat animals were down from a year ago. Prices of fresh vegetables and citrus fruits rose sharply during the winter, mainly because of unfavorable weather. The department said that marketing charges rose because of rating. Atlantic City, New Jersey, the average person who survives his first stroke can expect to suffer another within 2 years. And time only increases at a grim possibility. A New York specialist said today there is a 4 out of 5 chance of a second stroke within 4 years of the first. Dr. Irvin S. Rack told the American College of Physicians strokes like the kind suffered by President Eisenhower are the result of a cutoff in the supply of the blood to the brain, starvation of assigned brain cells from a lack of nourishment. Other strokes, such as the fatal one that struck President Franklin D. Roosevelt, came in from the personal blood vessel and the drowsing of the part of the brain to the blood. Doctors now that understand that strokes are not accidents cause brain damage, but instead of standard generalized disease. White said a word that now are the symptoms that signal that overcome a major strokes before such symptoms like little strokes may have been mistaken for something else or past involved. Much program than me. Okay, now on to what for weather here now, Bob Joyce. Okay, thank you, Mr. Charles Tuxland. Right now, our current conditions at 7 p.m. reports 47 in Portland, 48 out in Brunswick, 48 out in Rockland, 49 out in Acadia and Bar Harbor, 48 out in Freiburg, 48 in Lewiston, 49 in Augusta, 49 in Bangor, 49 in Holton, 51 out in Krakow, 50 out in Caribou, 55 out in Portsmouth, 62 out in Manchester, 62 out in Keene, 45 in Concord, 45 out in Rochester, 45 in Laconia, 44 in Lebanon, New Hampshire, 45 in Mount Washington, New Hampshire, 45 in Berlin, New Hampshire, 44 in Montpelier, Vermont, 45 in Sherbrooke, and 45 in Quebec City.
Delicious good cottage cheese for more than 160 years. Always good.
Okay, weather-wise around the nation today. Showers and thunderstorms spread today from the Loire Valley to Lake region and the eastern seaboard. Occasional rain and drizzle continue to the Mid-Atlantic and the mountains west of the Rockies. A few scattered showers reported. There were patches of rain and snow in the Rockies, eastern Colorado, and western Kansas. The weather was clear and cool over the west to the west, and in the middle west and the east was mild. Swell forecast for Maine. Cloudy with showers and scattered thunderstorms tonight. Wednesday, partly cloudy and warmer. General variable winds becoming southwesterly about 15-20 miles per hour, shifting to northwesterly Wednesday. Temperature tonight will range from 45 to 50 degrees. And that is going to be it for TriState News on this April 29th, 1958. I'm Charles Tompkins on the outside. Bob Joyce and have a good evening. We'll be back at 10:30. Bye-bye for now. Here. Have a good evening.